welcome. So today I want to just do a little video. I want to focus on David Wilcock's death. I want to talk a little bit about that today, and a few synchronicities that I've had this week which have been strange. So why I'm talking about this on this channel rather than my cosmic channel is because it falls in line to the dream that I had about the general coming to me saying that people with high clearance knowledge or scientists, I don't think they said scientists, but they said he said people with knowledge, certain knowledge or beyond classified information were being either recalled, called in, and as we've seen with those missing 11 scientists, some of them have been taken out. So David Wilcock was looking into this recently, talking about actually on one of his last posts that he did. He is a leading researcher in the UFO field. He's been around for a very long time. He's been on Ancient Aliens. He was a very big part of my awakening back when YouTube was very different. So there was a lot of creators back on YouTube. I think it was about 2011 when I started opening my eyes to what was going on. And that was from all the creators at the time that have since lost their accounts. So he happened to be researching a lot of things that my friend and I were researching at the time. We'd go down certain rabbit holes, have our eyes open to different information, and then a couple of days later he would come out with a video on what we'd actually been looking at. I met David. He did a conference in Australia and I met him after the conference. So it's quite weird to do a reading on somebody that you've met, that you've spoken to, you've had contact with. So this is kind of really weird to me because he was a very big part of my awakening and my eyes being open to, and of course loves a lot of the weird woo-woo topics that I love. So this is quite a strange situation for me. So then having the dream that the general said people with the high clearance information were being recalled or called in. Now, even if you're mainstream, you've got to think there's something weird going on here with 11 scientists or people in the field, now 12 with David Wilcock, if you're including him. He's quite a scientific brain as well. But he definitely researches the field, and he was in talks with a lot of whistleblowers too back in those, 15 years ago. He was talking to whistleblowers, so he would know certain things. Now, here's what's really interesting. 6 days before he passed, his biographer, Winfrey, passed away also. So he would have been somebody that David would have shared a lot of stories with. So you've got to think there's some weirdness going on here too with this case. Now, why am I bringing this to this channel instead of my cosmic channel, which I'd planned to? Because I've been planning on reading over on the other channel, The Missing Scientist. And I was thinking, do I do them all together or do I do quick little 10-minute readings for each individual scientist just to see if there's any connections between their passing? So that's been something I've been considering now for a couple of weeks. Doing actually since I had the dream where the general came in. I've been just trying to figure out the right way to tackle this. And then this happens and I think, well, I'm going to do one and I'm going to start with David Wilcock's because he is in the field. He had top secret information because he spoke to whistleblowers. Now, the weird things that have happened to me this week is starting on this channel was I did the collective energy reading this week. A lot of those things have happened in I'm not even going to go into the things that have happened. That's all over the algorithm. But I also said there's going to be a passing. Now, why this passing mightn't be mainstream, anybody that's in the woo-woo field or anybody that has gone down rabbit holes would know David Wilcock. Anybody that's into the UFO field would know David Wilcock. So he is a well-known person. He's a well-known person to many people. So I had that happen, plus the general dream, plus that I've been planning on putting together a reading on my cosmic channel about each individual scientist, not to mention all the little other connections I've been getting, just little synchronicities. One of those synchronicities this week, which is weird, and I don't want to talk too much about woo-woo topics over here, but there's some kind of technology, voice-to-brain technology. Now, I'm a clairaudient, so that's one of my strongest gifts. I have been that way for a very long time. So I've learned to distinguish between what is my thoughts, what is my higher self thoughts, spirit team, and people that have deceased people coming through. So I've learned to distinguish between the different sounds and the different speech patterns or voices. The one that I had this week was negative, and I don't have issues with negative self chatter and that kind of stuff. I don't deal with that. I don't have that. I don't cop it. I don't put up with it. So if I feel myself talking any negative kind of way, I'll just switch that off straight away. I recognize it and I just cut it straight. And I haven't had to deal with it for a very, very long time because I know how to cut it off. But this week I had, in the middle of the night, about witching hour, 3 o'clock in the morning, my brain activated and I was getting weird chatter, and it was about almost getting me to not be on YouTube. So it was like trying to put doubt in my head about putting my face on YouTube and reading on YouTube. So, and it was, now had it have been like a spirit guide coming through warning me, don't do this, I'd recognize that cadence or that voice or that feeling. It wasn't, it was negative. Now, either a day before or a day after, I don't know which, but I had a little video pop up on the other platform about the voice to brain technology, and I thought that was weird. I'm going to get into that too much on this channel, but I shut it down straight away because I recognized that it was negative. It wasn't me. I don't talk that way to myself. I don't have that negative self chatter, and I just cut it off straight away. But I think it's important here because it shows what happens with mental illness and that negativity that can come in and cloud your judgment, cloud your confidence. For the last 4 days, and probably since that episode, I've had brain zaps, so headaches, where brain zaps. Now I know there's probably a physical reason for that. It's probably something health related, but I suffer from migraines. I get headaches, but these ones have been different. It's been periodic brain zaps that I've been getting. Now I can't read cards and I can't tap in when I've got headaches, so it just prevents me from reading, which is why I'm not reading today. I do have a few decks that I have with me just in case I decide to pull a couple of cards around this energy. So I've got my full disclosure deck, which is all about the stuff that David Wilcock was interested in. My Stardust Shadows, which talks about kind of conspiracy and dirt stuff as well. I've got my connections and I've got my investigation deck, just in case I decide I want to pull a card here. I won't be doing a reading because, as I said, I've 4 days of headaches, but brain zapping headaches, and that prevents me from reading. So I am going to do a reading on David Wilcock's energy connected to the weird deaths and disappearances. But I also think that those connections I've had with the voice to brain, negative self-talk, mental illness is also going to be a little bit relevant there as well. I think that's been, but as I said, I'm going to open my dreams to see if there's any information that comes through, but I'm also going to very much guard and protect as well, because there's a lot of that energy that's needed right now. So I might start just by pulling a card as I'm talking about the energy here. I don't want to make this a long video. So I might just pull one card from each deck. I've just had the little full disclosure deck right now. But I do plan on doing a longer video, a bit of a deep dive. And I'll most likely put it on my other channel so I can be more woo-woo with it. The card that I've pulled, Project Bluebeam, it was something actually he was very, very aligned to, very interested in. Now that reminds me, his last video that he done was 3 hours and 33 minutes. I'm big with numbers, so is he. He's very cryptic. So that's a clue. He played this weird character in there where he had the smoke in his mouth and he was talking about David in the third person. My instant thought was the smoking man in The X-Files, which is that background person that keeps an eye on certain people. That was my thought when I saw that character that he was playing. Now he expressed in that video, he was interested in looking into the different missing people and generals that have passed, not just generals, but people in the field, scientific field, UFO field. But he also said that he wasn't suicidal in that video. And now it's come out that claiming that he took his own life. So I think we're going to start to see things that are not adding up here. And I think he's very cryptic. So I think in his videos, you'll see little clues about things as well. So it's something to keep an eye on there. But the Project Blue Beam that just popped out reminded me of that. Reminded me to tell you about that. But also that was a topic that he was big on. Card's just fallen on the floor. And the card says alien technology. Is the other card, alien technology. So that was another subject that he was right into. He was on the ancient aliens, and he was pretty much right up into that. So maybe that was stuff that he had whistleblower connection and information about. So a lot of people missing or past also have some kind of connection to alien technology as well. So I'm going to leave that deck there, but I will go into more depth with that deck on my reading that I do. I'm just reading from the Stardust now, which is the conspiracy side of things. Okay. Now he did have some issues that he was dealing with personally. The card that I've pulled here is the card of regret, regrets on the back, but it's the card of avoiding feelings, avoiding something, or numbing feelings. And some bad choices. So I know that I'll pull through the information on that when I do the actual reading, but I just wanted to pull one of each for this reading. As I said, I can't read today because the brain's zapped, so just too full on. Okay, I'm pulling from my investigation deck now. Okay, the card that wanted to fall out then, was sticking out when I was shuffling, was the Tower card. So worried about maybe chaos around him, maybe the tower falling, the collapse of a society. Well, it's not a society, but the collapse of information. So maybe it's got to do with why. Suspicious activity around him. So it's a phone here. So I think looking at his videos, you'll be looking for anything that was strange, weird, suspicious, or cryptic in his videos. But maybe maybe we'll start to hear some things around his passing that are suspicious. I think that's exactly what that card means. And the person is known. Person is known is interesting because it's ruled allegedly as suicide. And finally, I'll pull one more card from the Connections Oracle. Okay, so first of all, I've just got the escapism card there, but what I'm being told is this is going to take more time, so slow down. So my quick reading today, which is not even a reading, it's saying it's going to take more time, more energy, more deep diving here. So it's definitely what I'm being told is to give this one more time. Slow the reading down, go deep dive with this reading. So that's what I'm being told there. It says take more time with this reading. So not just a quick one like I'm doing here. But the purpose here of this reading is just to talk about it because it's happened, it's affected me. It came up in my predictive reading this week about a passing of a person. Now, why it's not mainstream, it has affected me, and it will affect people that he's been a part of their awakening, or people that have watched him and been a follower of has him as a creator. But also because of the dream connection I've had. Now, he's very big with dreams as well. The dream with the general saying people with top clearance or knowledge or information are being recalled. And then his person that wrote his biography passed 6 days prior, the person that David would have had conversations with and told him stories about for his biography. bit of a red flag for me. So I think this one's well worth the deep dive, and I'm being told that it's a deep dive that's going to take more time than just a quick 10-minute video. Thank you so much for watching today, my bit of a ramble. But yeah, I think yeah, my heart goes out to people around him, but also to the people also that would be affected today that have just watched him and you know, watch him grow over the years, and watch, you know, him be at the forefront of whistleblowing and deep diving into woo-woo topics and trying to out some of the lies that we've been told. So thank you for watching. If you want to check out the video, it will be coming up in the next week or so on my other channel, which is the Cosmic Trish channel. Over there it's not mainstream, it's a little bit more woo-woo, into a bit more of these kind of topics. But I only wanted to bring it here today because it does align to some of the other videos that I have been doing on this topic. I will see you soon.